Digestion is a huge issue in the perimenopause and menopause, and it seems to be sort of getting worse over the years. So many women contact me to ask, is their digestion okay? What's going on? Is it connected? Why is it getting worse? Why is this happening? So today I thought I would look at very specific issues that can indicate there is something wrong with your digestion and what you can do just to help yourself. So the main reasons, there's two main reasons where your digestion can get affected in the perimenopause and menopause. One is obviously the hormonal changes, and we know that estrogen has a slowing down effect on the gut. So as your estrogen starts to fall, basically your gut just slows down. All the movement, all the digesting, all the processing, all the elimination, everything takes a lot longer. And that's going to cause things like wind, constipation, bloating and discomfort. But stress is a big factor as well. It's the flight or fight thing. The minute your body goes into any kind of flight or fight situation, and today, it's not being chased by saber-toothed tigers, it's just the fact that you might be late for work, or you can't find your car keys, or you've missed the bus. So that action of your body getting that little bit stressed basically switches your digestion off maybe for 2 to 3 hours. So again, if you've just had your breakfast and this has happened, it's going to sit in your stomach for 2 to 3 hours without moving anywhere at all. So with the combination of these two, it's not surprising that sometimes our digestion just goes completely to pot. Sometimes it's knowing what's going well. So we tend to focus on what's going wrong with the digestion, but you will know really if your digestion is okay. So if everything is well, you should have a good appetite, you should be eating well, you should be enjoying your food, you shouldn't have any cravings, and you're not experiencing things like nausea. The way your bowels behave, and I know, we don't like to talk about bowels and things like that, but the way our bowel works on a daily basis is absolutely crucial for our digestive health. And knowing if things are right or wrong when that's going on, again, is a really good indication of whether your digestion is healthy or not. Your bowel should be moving at least twice a day. And I know, we get told by some people they go once a week, and the doctor's quite happy with that because they're regular in that they go once a week. If you think about it, you're eating 2 to 3 meals a day, you're having snacks, and if you're not going to the toilet every day, you could end up having 2 to 3 days worth of decaying food sitting in your gut. And then, it's no wonder that you're going to bloat, you're going to get the cramping, you're going to get the wind and the constipation. So bowel habits and bowel functions, it's really a good indication of what's going on and what's going right. One of the things that I find really helpful is there is something called the Bristol stool chart, and it shows you exactly what you should be passing if your bowels are healthy. It also shows you what you shouldn't be passing, and if things are really bad, then you need to go to the doctor. But it's well worth having a look at this just to see if you're average, if you're okay, or maybe you really need to overhaul your digestion. So indigestion, again, we all get indigestion. Even I get it sometimes if I eat too much. If I eat a big sort of carb heavy meal, I can feel uncomfortable for a couple of hours, and that's fine. It happens to everybody. But if you're getting it on a regular basis, then again, it's an indication the stomach's not coping very well. So the main signs that your digestion is struggling would be things like regular indigestion, wind, burping. So that's up the way. It can also mean cramping, wind, down the way. And it can also mean things like gastric reflux too. Number 2 is a change in bowel habits. So remember, you should be going twice a day. if your bowel habits are changing, if you're maybe only going 2 or 3 times a week, if you've gone from twice a day to once a day, that's a big change. That's a 50% change of bowel habits. So that is quite a big factor. So again, you need to look at your bowel habits. One of the really important things here, though, is that if you're getting constant diarrhea, if there are blood in your stools, that needs medical attention. So don't leave that one in the hope that it might just get better. Number 3, believe it or not, your digestion can impact your sleep and your mood. We have compounds in the chemicals in the brain called serotonin, and serotonin helps to keep our mood up. It helps to keep our mood level. But believe it or not, we also have serotonin receptor sites in the gut. So if your gut is not working well, it can have a very big impact on your mood and how you're feeling on a daily basis. They actually say that the gut is the second brain because of this, really, really strong connection here. So again, sleep too. If you're eating the wrong foods, your liver can really rev up during the night. So if you're waking up between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., that's very often an indication that your liver is really struggling at that time too. Skin, believe it or not, is connected to our digestion and our elimination. So especially if you're getting constipated, very often you'll get the skin rashes, you'll get the spots, you can get things like eczema and psoriasis as well. So these are closely linked as well. And number 5 is bad breath. We have plenty of friendly bacteria, or we should have plenty of friendly bacteria in the digestive tract, and they help to create the right environment to digest and eliminate our food. If they're not working well, if they're missing, if you've had something like food poisoning or antibiotics, that can then affect the ventilation of the gut, if you like, and that can produce things like bad breath. So what can you do to help yourself with the digestion? So number 1 is water. Again, really, really important. Your digestion, it's like a processing plant. There's all these different processes going on, and they nearly always involve water. So if you're dehydrated, if you're getting flushes and sweats, if your estrogen is dropping and you get dehydrated, that is going to affect your gut function. And dehydration is one of the biggest causes of constipation. So loads of water during the day, but don't drink a lot with food, because you will dilute the stomach acid and a lot of the digestive enzymes, and that will affect your digestion as well. So loads of water in between meals, half an hour before a meal, and start an hour afterwards, but very little in between, and that can make quite a big difference as well. So number 2, improve your diet. Carbs and the menopause and perimenopause tend not to go particularly well together. They do cause a lot of bloating, and a lot of people do find just going on a lower carbohydrate diet can make a huge amount of difference. And loads of veg and some fruit as well, and some nice grains and a small amount of pulses, just to give you fibre to keep everything moving along really, really nicely. Regular exercise. Exercise is great for constipation. If you're walking, and walking is one of the best ones, if you're doing a brisk walk, that action is massaging the whole of your digestive tract, and that will help to move everything along. So even a brisk 15-minute walk after you've had a meal can make a huge amount of difference, especially for your elimination. The other thing is, as I mentioned before, friendly bacteria. They are so important, and there's so much research coming out now looking at how friendly bacteria can affect our hormone balance too. So this is a really important time to get those friendly bacteria well settled. A good probiotic, maybe do a month at a time every 6 months, unless you've got digestive problems, and in which case a good daily one can make all the difference. And that can sometimes have quite a good impact on the hormone side of things as well. You can look at fermented foods. These are really good for the gut. So you've got things like your kefir, your tempeh, miso, things like that. You could also look at our molkazam fruit, which is a digestive drink that you can take on a daily basis. And bitter herbs, these are absolutely great. Bitter herbs start to stimulate your digestive juices, and you will find, especially in the Mediterranean diet, there's very often a first course, just a small plate of a combination of bitter herbs, and these work really well at getting everything switched on. Obviously, you can't always have a little bowl of salad, but you can look at bitter herbs. And one of the best bitter herbs that you can get is the herb called yarrow, and you would just take that before each meal. The other thing is chew well. Your stomach doesn't have any teeth, and if you rush your food, if you don't chew it properly, your poor old stomach is going to have to work really hard at breaking everything down, and that's when you end up with indigestion and gastric reflux. So just taking an extra 5 or 10 minutes at each meal time, chewing well, can make a real big difference to your digestion very, very quickly. So I hope you found this one helpful. We have done quite a few digestive subjects over the last few weeks, but it's one that seems to be becoming more and more apparent in the perimenopause and menopause, and we're getting so many questions on it. If you have any queries on this, if you have any stories, if you have any tips, what has really helped your digestion? What did you change in your diet, or what did you start taking that made a big difference for you? And you know, I love to read your stories. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon.